Hello and welcome. In the next couple of videos, we shall try to use AWS resources to resolve the challenges of businesses and organizations. In today's case, a company mindful of the challenges in maintaining physical server resolves to migrate to the AWS cloud. And not just to migrate to AWS cloud, they also want to increase the reliability and availability of their applications. And how can they achieve this? A possible way is to deploy the applications in two EC2 instances. To deploy the applications across two EC2 instances in separate availability zones. So in this demo, we shall be creating the two EC2 instances in two different availability zones. To get started, we'll go to EC2. So we are now on EC2. Let's look at the instances. As you can see, we currently have no instances here. So we're going to create them. We'll go to launch instances. Okay, let's give a name to our instance. I'll say, let's just give it web server 01. Then we'll scroll down. In Amazon machine image, let's leave it at Amazon Linux. Then instance type. Selecting your instance type is actually key to the performance of your applications. So currently we have T2 micro here. Based on what we want to serve, the purpose we want our server to serve, we can select a different instance type. So for the purpose of this demo, let's compare instance types. So I'll go to compare instance types. Okay. So currently you can see that the T2 micro is highlighted. We have T1 micro, T2 nano, T2 small, and so on and so forth, all the way down. Then here we can get advice. So let's select get advice. Okay. Now in this pop-up, this is where you can actually tell AWS the major requirements for your instances, and it could give you the type that best suits your requirements. For instance, we have the field for workloads. In this case, we have a web app server for it. We can go to the drop-down menu. You can see cache, data warehousing, deep learning, and so on. So depending on what the type of workload you want your server to serve, you can select it here. Then use case, you can as well go down to the drop-down arrow, the drop-down and select your use case. Okay. Then you can check your priority. In this case, what is your priority? Is it price and performance? Is it just high performance? Is it just low cost, or you have no preference? And of course, the CPU manufacturer. So when you've configured all this, you can now get your instance type. Okay. So in this case, for this demo, we're going to stick with the T2 micro. So I'll say select instance type. Okay. So we're leaving it at T2 micro. Key pair login. Okay. For this demo, we're going to proceed without a key pair since we don't intend to actually connect to the EC2 instance. So we shall proceed without a key pair. Network settings. We'll go to edit. So this is where we'll select the VPC into which we're going to be launching our instance, as well as the subnet and availability zone. So in this case, we'll be launching our instances in the default VPC. So we're going to leave it as default VPC. And then when we come to subnets, we're going to be launching it at, okay, availability zone US is to 1A, so we shall be launching it here. Should be selecting the subnet. Okay. So this is our subnet, and this is the availability zone where we are launching it. We'll leave auto assign public IP enabled. Then in the security group, we shall select a security group from an existing one. I'll select existing security group. Then let's go and select I have a couple of security groups here. We're going to make use of launch wizard one. Okay. So we're getting to almost storage. Let's leave it at 10. Okay. And then leave this other one. Okay, let's go to advanced details. I intend to add a user data. Now this user data or the script will install a web server that displays our instance information on port 80. So the script is already in my system. So what I do now is to select it. So I go to choose file. Okay, where are my downloads? So okay, let me go to downloads. So go down. Okay, here's the user data. So I select it and open. Okay, we're pretty done with setting up our. So with that, we can come over here and look at the summary. We're creating just one VPC. Look at the AMI, look at the instance type, the firewall, and so on, the storage volume. So having looked at the summary, we can now launch our instance. So go down, our instance is successfully launched. So let's go down and view our instances. Great. So you can see our instance here, web server 01. Okay, it's already running. So I'll highlight it. Let's look at the properties. Okay. So this is our web server. Now remember that I added a user data that gives information about the that gives information about the instance. So and to get the information, we're going to be making use of the public DNS. So I'll copy the public DNS and then open it in a new window. Then enter. Correct. So it successfully confirms that our EC2 instance is running. This is the instance ID. Note the instance type T2 micro. Also note the availability zone US East 1A. So remember that we are trying to deploy the company's applications into across two EC2 instances in two different availability zones. So we're going to go over to our first window and create the second EC2 instance. So go to launch instance. So let's give a name to our second EC2 instance. We're going to call this one web server 02. We're going to call it web server 0. Okay. Let's still leave the AMI. Let's still select Amazon Linux as our AMI, and then we'll go down. Okay, instant type. Okay, this time around, let's try T2. Let's try T2. Let's try another instance type this time. Where's T2 medium? Okay, so we're going to make use of T2 medium in this case. Okay, T2 medium. Again, we're not going to be making use of any key. We don't intend to connect to the server. Now let's edit our network settings. We'll still leave it at the default VPC. We're still making use of the default VPC. Let's select our subnet this time. Remember, we're provisioning this second, we're launching this second uh, EC2 instance in a different availability zone. So we'll be making use of, let's do that in US East 1B. It is worth pointing out that one of the importance of provisioning your applications or launching your applications in different availability zones is to improve on not just reliability but also availability. So should anything happen to at one availability zone, the other availability zone will still remain active for your users. Let's select from security group. Let's select from existing security group. We'll still make use of the launch wizard one. Okay, so let's configure the storage. Leave that 10 as like in the first case. We shall now go to advanced details. So we're going to also upload our user data. So let's go down and select our user data. Okay, there it is. Open. Okay. So we can take a last look at the summary of our instance. You can see, unlike in the first one, we're making use of T2 medium here. Satisfied, we can now launch our instance. So success. Let's go down to view our instances. Okay, so you can see the two instances here. Web server 01 and web server 02. Okay. The second one is okay, it's now running. Good. So let me select it. So you can see some of the details. Now let's go and look at the display the instance information on another window. So like in the first case, I'll copy the public DNS. Correct. So this is our second EC2 instance running. You can see the instance ID. You can see the instance type. We're making use of T2 medium this time around, and then the availability zone in US East 1B. So this is our second instance. This is the first. You can see the first one, T2 micro, and in US East 1A. Okay, so we've successfully launched two EC2 instances in two different availability zones to improve the reliability and availability of the company's applications. Okay, thank you and see you again.